Peace, peace, peace. Let me see if I can. Yeah, this it's giving me a little complication, so we just gonna do it this way today. Peace, peace, peace. I hope you're all doing well today. Let me just get my stuff together. We will get started. Ooh, one second. Yeah, it's not giving me that portrait mode like I wanted to do, but whatever. We're just gonna get to the news today. Just give me a couple of seconds and we're gonna get started. Go through this news update real quick. All right. All right. Peace, 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 peace. I'm Rami Salam El. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. We have a breaking news update on the Rise of the Moors Wakefield standoff case. Come on in, come on in. We will get to the updates in one moment. Give it a couple more seconds for people to come on in. Gonna breeze through this pretty quickly because I got things to do, but I felt it was necessary to update you all on this information. All righty. Okay. Peace, peace, peace. Islam, peace, peace, peace. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so we have an standoff case. I'm going to update you on most of the members here, and then we'll get to the Rise of the Moors militia group member that pled guilty and go through what the specifics on that. So first, we have of the Rise of the Moors militia group, we have Lamar Dow, Aban El Kurig, Aaron Johnson, Omar Malik Antonio, Cano Pierre, and Stephen Perez. They all have a jury trial scheduled for May 22nd, 2023. Just to repeat, we have 7 members have a jury trial scheduled for May 22nd, 2023. Those individuals are Lamar Dow, Aban El Kurig, Omar Malik Antonio, Cano Pierre, Stephen Perez, Aaron Johnson, and Jamal Latimer. And Aaron Johnson, just a quick update on Aaron Johnson, he had a motion to suppress the evidence and statements that was denied as of January 26, 2023. But again, those individuals, including the leader of the Rise of the Moors militia group, Jamal, they all have jury trials scheduled for May 22nd, 2023. Jamal Flicks, some of you know him as Jamal Bay. In the court records, it says Jamal Latimer. So those are those 7 individuals. Then we have Quinn Cumberlander. He had a jury trial that was scheduled for March 13th, 2023, and that has been rescheduled by request of Quinn for August 7th, 2023. So Quinn Cumberlander, who had some issues in the past with not showing up to court, he had a jury trial scheduled for March 13th. That was rescheduled to August 7th, 2023 on the request of Quinn Cumberlander himself. Who else do we have here? We have Robert Rodriguez. he has a final. He had a final trial conference that was scheduled for the 27th of this month. That's in a couple of days, actually. But that was rescheduled on the request of Robert Rodriguez. Again, he had a final trial conference scheduled for February 27th, and he had a jury trial scheduled for March 21st, 2023. That will most likely change and be rescheduled as well. And that was on the request of the defendant, Robert Rodriguez. And then we have someone that is not a part of the initial Rise of the Moor militia group arrest of the 11 individuals. We have a supporter. Her name is Latoya Johnson, who was arrested when she went to the court to support the Rise of the Moors militia group. And she's had some issues and was charged with some crimes. She has had a warrant issued for her on February 6th because unfortunately, she failed to appear at court. Her bail was forfeited, and she had a jury trial that was scheduled for March 15th. And that has been canceled, obviously, because she didn't show up to her court date on the 6th of February. So that is unfortunate for her as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that was the 9 Rise of the Moor militia group. Again, 7 of them have jury trial scheduled for May 22nd, 2023. Robert Rodriguez, he had a trial that was scheduled for March 21st, 2023, will likely be rescheduled. Quinn Cumberlander had his trial that was scheduled for March 13th, and that has been rescheduled to August 7th, 2023. And now to get to the person that pled guilty. And this is, I had to pull it up so I could just read all this information. And the person that pled guilty of the Rise of the Moors militia group is Wilfredo Hernandez. And he had submitted his plea of guilty on the 15th of February. And let me get the actual charges that he pled guilty to real quick. So he pled guilty to the felony firearm possession of a large capacity. The second charge, another felony of firearm possession large capacity. The third charge, pled guilty firearm carrying without a license, which is also a felony. The fourth charge of carrying without a license of a firearm, another felony. And then the storage improper of large capacity near a minor is I just heard prosequi. I believe that's prosequi. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's NOLLEPROSEQUI. Basically, the prosecutors are not moving forward to charge him with that. So the felony for improper storage of a large capacity near a minor, they decided not to proceed with the charges. Oh, actually, there's some more charges. Excuse me. Yeah, so two charges of firearm carrying without a license, 2 charges of firearm possession of large capacity, the improper storage of a large capacity near a minor, and the rifle shotgun improperly storage near a minor. They decided not to continue with the prosecution. He pled guilty to having body armor and use is a felony. Pled guilty to conspiracy. Pled guilty to another one of carrying without a license, carrying the firearm without a license and was loaded. He pled guilty to ammunition without an FID card possession. And and he also pled guilty to false ID and information, giving false ID to law enforcement. Okay, and so he was sentenced, and I was looking here. It says for the firearm, the large capacity possession, he was sentenced to 2 years for both those charges. And those are supposed to be concurrently charged. He was sentenced to 1 year and 6 months for a firearm carrying without a license. Well, both of those charges both have a term of 1 year and 6 months to be served concurrently. And he was credited with 130 days for the time he was in jail. And then he also, part of the plea agreement, has probation for 3 years. And those are for the body armor, conspiracy, firearm without a license, ammunition without an FID card, false ID information. He has probation for 3 years. A length, various conditions for that probation, seems pretty standard. Not to leave Massachusetts, can't possess weapons, drugs, explosives, firearms, or ammo. Yeah, you got to pay the court fees. Nothing that really stands out. Seems like your basic probation conditions. And so I did want to say, from my perspective, it seems as though, because I do want to give credit to Facts or Frauds, that YouTube channel that I saw the update on this. They were saying that he has 7 years, but now when I look more closely at the plea agreement, or the details of the plea, the guilty plea, it seems as though he was charged with 2 years in prison, state prison, and the other charges are to be served concurrently, and concurrently means all at the same time and not consecutively. So I don't think it's actually adding up the time, because if you added up the time, it would be about 7 years in prison. But I believe, from my understanding, is that he has to serve 2 years with the rest of the charges and the time, all of it to be served concurrently. So yeah, that is it's unfortunate, if I understand that correctly. I think the 2 years in prison is much better. I mean, it's unfortunate the felony charges and all of that, but 2 years in prison sounds much better than 7 years in prison. Yeah. So that is the update. Now, what that means for the other Rise of the Moors militia group members, that remains to be seen. I'm thinking maybe Robert Rodriguez, because he was often paired with Wilfredo Hernandez. Maybe that he's working out a plea agreement. The other Rise of the Moor militia group members, their case, their trial is a little bit further out. Maybe, when they find out about this information, they'll reconsider going to trial and may just take a guilty plea, especially being that they have already served some time in prison, served some time in jail, that they can be credited with that time. And so, hopefully, they can come up. Well, I don't want to put that out there. I just want to report the news at the moment. Yeah, so that is the update as of right now. Again, Wilfredo Hernandez, one of the Rise of More militia group members, pled guilty, several felony charges, looking to serve 2 years in state prison. 7 of the other Rise of the More militia group members have a jury trial scheduled for May 22nd, 2023. One of them, Quinn, he has jury trial scheduled for August 7th, 2023. Um, and uh, and yeah, so in terms of updates, if I hear about some more updates from this case, I will do my best to get it to you as soon as I become aware of it. Um, let me see. Let me see the comments. Peace, peace, peace to everybody in the chat here. Martell, McCoy, I wonder if they will all show up. I'm not sure on that. Oh, yeah. In terms of Lamont Butler, that's somewhat connected to this group, but separate. Um, yeah, Butcher, um, I appreciate that suggestion. I Yeah, I'm gonna figure out how I can update because I think that's also important for people to know. Lamont Butler is another person that was um, pushing some of the same ideology and same tactics or actions as the Rise and More militia group, who's also currently in jail, to the best of my knowledge. Um, and so, yeah, I do think I have a responsibility to update folks on that because it is connected. Also, again, if you're watching this and you aren't aware, just to be clear, the Rise of the More militia group and their ideology about carrying weapons without, proper registration or IDs or driving without a license, any of those tactics and any other of the sovereign citizen tactics, trying to take over a home without paying for it, saying that the US government or the states don't have jurisdiction, any of that kind of ideology, please understand that that is not a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, nor has that ever been any of the teachings of Noble Drew Ali or true Moorish Americans. Noble Drew Ali created the organization, the Moorish Science Temple of America, to aside from the religious aspect, to help the members, Moorish Americans, become better citizens. Noble Drew Ali taught us to obey the law, to respect the law, the Constitution. Um, and so I know it may be confusing if you see certain individuals on social media claiming to be Moors and may see them wearing a fez, and they may mention Noble Drew Ali, but then they are acting like sovereign citizens. Just know those individuals and those groups, like the Rise of the Moors militia group, are something completely separate from the Moorish Science Temple of America, and they are doing their own thing. I know it may be confusing, but just please understand that we're not the same. Um, yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah. Yashar Bey. They actually are connected to the issue. Lamont Butler is connected to this issue in that he called and was speaking with some of the officers when the Rise of the Moors were initially in the standoff, for this whole issue back in 2021. And he was presenting himself as some sort of I forget the general, I forget the name, but he was presenting himself as some sort of official authoritative figure on behalf of the Rise of the Moors militia group. So there is a connection to this issue specifically, as well as the ideology that both him, Lamont Butler, and his organization, and the Rise of the Moor militia group, and what they have been pushing and promoting. But I don't want to get into that too much right now because that requires some more detail and some more information. Consular General, thank you. But yeah, he is actually connected, unfortunately. Jamal, Jamal will not get the same deal. Yeah, I don't, I don't think so. It doesn't seem like he has any, it hasn't been any indication that he will take a plea deal either. So, you know, who knows? Time will tell. Um, is there any more? Is there any more questions before I get out of here? Okay. Yeah, I don't see any more questions. Let me see. Yeah, so since there are no more questions that I can see, last call for the questions before I get out of here. Yeah, and it is unfortunate. Actually, what I will close with, this whole situation is unfortunate. When I was speaking with another brother about this situation, what he had spoken on and what I agree with is that this is a really unfortunate situation, but for true Moorish Americans and for followers of Noble Drew Ali and just people in general, this is a harsh lesson, and a teaching moment to not act in the way that we have seen with the Rise of the Moors militia group, led by Jamal. This idea that the United States doesn't have jurisdiction, or that you are somehow impervious or above the laws of the United States. That is not a good mentality to have or a good ideology to practice. And I would just encourage, you know, any Moorish American, but any person that may be watching this, to not follow in the example that you may have seen with these individuals, because it is not wise. It's not good for your families. It's not good, it won't be good for your families, won't be good for you. And as we are seeing, it comes with some harsh consequences, that being prison time, and felony charges. So, yeah, I would just say, if you're truly about the teachings of Noble Drew Ali, then please move with love instead of hate. Um, Learn about the laws of, the state that you're in, the city or town that you're in. Learn about the Constitution and do your best to obey the law, to respect the laws. And if you feel something isn't right with the laws, then apply yourself and apply your knowledge to become a part of the government the legal way and help make change. Don't be some sort of radical or think that you can just do whatever you want just because you don't agree with the law. That's not a wise decision. That's not how we should be moving. Um, yeah, that's all I got for now. Thank you for watching. Much love. Peace.